Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's Noble Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Brewery Bhavana out of Raleigh, North Carolina. This beer is called Sylvan. I guess this is an annual release, and each release is a different beer because this one says the second iteration of this single barrel series comes from barrel 77, which waited in our wood cellar for nearly 2 years, slowly souring this deep, dark beer and unearthing notes of stone fruit, funk, and chocolate. I'm pretty sure that it specifically says 2018 too. And then the general description says wine barrel aged mixed fermentation saison. So I think the 2017 version of this was not like a darker beer. I think it was something lighter. And generally, I'm down for buying anything these guys make, at least in the wild area, because everyone I've had has been very, very good. But I'm always hesitant to buy like darker sours because sometimes they just don't really. I shouldn't even say sometimes. A lot of times they just don't really work for me. But I'm hoping that these are like, or that this is like the Hill Farmstead ones, where it might not be the best beer they've ever made, but they are able to take that style and still do a very good job with it. And this set does have pretty high ratings, so I'm hoping. But I don't trust those that much. But I'm hoping that is accurate. And so it's basically, from what I understand, it's a darker saison. And it is 6.2 ABV. So you can see I had to do some work on the cap there. There's some pretty thick wax. So I think I did enough work that I should be able to easily open this. We'll see. Yeah. For some reason, it's always. I mean, I guess maybe breweries just want to do a style that not a lot of other breweries do, or something like that. But it's kind of just strange to me in general that breweries want to. I'll leave it like that. The breweries would even like have a reason to do something like this. I don't know. It's just strange. But. Anyways, as you can see, of course, I mean, it's definitely not just like a darker saison, because sometimes like dark sours are like dark red to brown. This basically looks like a stout. I mean, it is dark, very dark brown, almost black, and it had like a dark beige to a tan head that faded away pretty quickly. I do have to say, though, I'm really not getting any, like, dark beer characteristics out of this. There's a good bit of oak. There's a little bit of, vinous character, like red wine. That's mainly because it's a little cheesy, and then there's also, a little bit of, it reminds me of like a Flanders red, like apple cider vinegar a little bit. But it's very minimal. I guess, now that I'm smelling it more, I am getting a little bit of the chocolate notes too that it was referencing. And I generally don't like, listening to that and reading it ahead of time, but it just happened to be there, so. But I am getting that a little bit. We'll see how it tastes. Wow. It's funny because other than like the table beer they made, which wasn't wild, but it was just a really simple beer, which I love. And their IPAs basically, for the most part, can't get infected because of the alpha acids. But the barrel aged non-sour stuff that they tried to do, they did a barrel aged stout and a barrel aged barley wine. Both ones I had them, they were infected. But this does not taste like, something that was supposed to be something else and then got infected and they relabeled it. This tastes like their whole intention was to make this beer. It's very interesting. Because I do get a little bit of the chocolate character. There's a little bit of a smoky note to it. Almost like nutty peanut butter. It's so weird. Like, it is incredibly balanced between like what would be in a nice... It almost comes off to me as like an export stout. What would be in a nice export stout, and then there was a intentional like... it doesn't, to me, it doesn't even come off as lactic. It's almost like a PDO is kind of more at play here, which is generally more of the pronounced flavor in like a Flanders Red. So I think that explains the nose. I also just really realized something really weird. If you the way this glass is made and the way that the frog is etched in it. When you go to take a drink out of it, you can see the frog in the beer. It's really weird. Yeah, it's funny. Like it has a tartness to it. There's definitely an oaky character. But other than that, the flavors are all on point for, like I said, like an export stout. There's really not any... there's not really any funk to it. But it also doesn't just taste like it was like some sort of kettled sour, like where it's just lactic acid either. There's some sort of complexity in the wildness, but it also doesn't taste like super funky and cheesy or anything like that. That cheesy character that I was getting in the nose, I'm not really getting in the flavor. It might be there a little bit playing with the oak. There's a lot of dark fruit though going on, but dark fruit can be attributable to like a Flanders and also to a stout. So it's kind of walks the tightrope. So I don't know what made me cough there. Yeah, this is I'm blown away by this, not because it's like my favorite beer that I've had from them, because it's not. I would still prefer the lighter stuff, but it is so restrained in the acidity and the funk that, usually when you get like a dark sour, it's just either the base beer is some random hodgepodge of like roasted malts, but they weren't really trying to do anything with the base. They just wanted something that looked dark, and then they were souring it anyways. Or you get something that was actually a really good stout, but it kind of just tastes like a stout that got infected, and then they called it something else. This is neither one of those things. This tastes like it was 100% intentional. And if it wasn't, then even better for them that they were able to take something that wasn't intentional and turn it into this. But I'm assuming it was. This tastes 100% intentional. It has all the qualities of like a really nice, like lower ABV. Like I said, export stout. I mean, it's a little over 6%, something like that. That's what makes me think of. It's a little smoky, some dark fruit. There's a tiny bit of roast and some chocolate. But the funk is very minimal. The acidity is just perfect to make you know that you're drinking like a wild ale. But it's not throat burning. It's not acidic. It's just very, very well done. And another example of why these guys are like, they didn't just find magic in a bottle. They know what the hell they're doing, and everything they're making is really good quality. There's so much between like the chocolatey character and the oak from the barrel. Like, it really does have a deep vinous character. It does kind of remind me of some darker red wines, but I'm not the biggest wine drinker, so I can't really pick out what specific types of wine, but it definitely has some notes of that, but definitely some true notes of stout and like wild beer too. It's just a really interesting, complex beer, and I was expecting to just think, oh, well, it's okay and whatever, but I would actually buy this again. I don't know how much. I think this was like $15. Kind of pricey considering it's not like my favorite, just straight flavor wise, but the complexity and the nuances of it are really, really interesting, and it would be something that I would buy to share with other people to show that, like, hey, because I have a couple friends who are in the same boat as me who generally don't like darker sours, to show, hey, this is, someone can really make something special with this style if they know what they're doing and they hit all the right points. So I would buy this again for sure. So kudos to these guys. They keep banging out awesome wild ales, and I hope they keep making them. They're great. So I think that's all I got on this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.